fun, and she's got big goals that she's focused on. So I think that helps keep her on track. But the list of things I had today that I think would be helpful are like her phone approach. How does she gather leads? Because you do so many calls. I think it'd be helpful as a newer CGC to help share with people, how are you getting lists of people to call? Who do you call? How do you get organized? Finding how to find events, how to make a lot of calls. And the biggest thing is, like, I can ask this later, but like, oh, everyone's off apparently now. Um, how to not take like canceled one-on-ones personally, and just like the adversity of the job. So if you want to take it away, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, yeah, is Lucky. I chatted with Lucky a while ago. I wonder if he's having back on, but that's okay. It's recorded and it's totally fine. Um, so I'm just like, maybe I should share my screen and I can show you
Yay.
how I. Well, actually, I can just talk first. Okay, so the first thing is phone calls. So I made it a goal since chatting with you last Thursday how you do the $100 per 100 phone calls, $100 in Cutco. And I have a whole list of probably a dozen brokers, people, whatever, that I want to send an engraved Santoku to, but I don't want to pay for it. So I got the same thing set up with my team to do the $100 for 100 phone calls, which is like really good incentive because yesterday, last Friday, and Thursday, I made 50 calls a day, and I'm gonna hope to make 50 calls a day from now on, like while days that I'm working, which will be really good. And honestly, like you see the results when you do the phone calls. Like that's what I've found. If the goal is solely make 50 phone calls, nothing else matters. Because last week I had 5 one-on-ones reschedule. 5. Like every day it was just like they kept rescheduling or canceling. They just wouldn't answer their phone. And I didn't care because I had so many other things in the pipeline. It doesn't matter. As long as you do your part, if they cancel, that's on them. Like that sucks. So yeah, taking nothing personally. I mean, it's annoying. It's you can't like just flush out your emotions when you've worked to get in a one-on-one and then they cancel, or maybe they don't cancel. It's usually they just don't answer their phones, and then you call them 5 times that week and they just don't answer. It's very rude. But you just kind of, if you're doing so much activity, it doesn't matter. It really just doesn't. And sometimes when my one-on-ones cancel, they never tell me that they're canceled. It's always that they just don't answer or they reschedule. Frankly, I'm like, great. This is fabulous. Now I can have 30 more minutes or another hour to make phone calls to offices because that is the most important thing to do. So my phone approach. So how you find offices. Real estate offices, there are so many ways. The easiest way is probably just to go to your local associations, and then you go to members. You kind of have to search a little bit. You go to members, and then you should be able to find out a list of each office in that association, or go to Google Maps. I've done that before, and go city by city throughout your state. Start at the big cities and just type in real estate or realty, and all of the offices are going to pop up. That's an easy way to do it. And that way it's localized, because then if you're calling all offices from St. Louis, Missouri, you can say, hey, you're in St. Louis. We work with blah, blah, blah from St. Louis. So that's how you get your list. For lenders, if you go to the state housing website, like the Missouri Department of Housing, and search around, every state is different, but those are some ideas on how to find people. Yeah, and then for calling the office, I mean, literally it's just, okay, this is what I do on my recon. I always try to get the information that I need before I talk to the decision maker. That way I seem informed and I don't waste their time. I always get as much info out of the secretary as possible, or the agent that answered the phone. So this is like what I say. I say, let's see, ring, ring, ring. Hi, this is Remax and Remax Dynamic Agents, whatever. Hey, this is Sarah Schiff. How you doing? And then if they're like, oh, I'm doing well, how are you? Try to build rapport for like 30 seconds. Oh, it's so nice out, blah, 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 the weather. Just chat about something random. Oh, the snow's melted, woohoo. And then, hey, might I ask you a question or two? That's what I say. Might I ask you a question or two? So who would I need to talk to about coming to see you guys at a team meeting? That's what I say. Or if they're really far away, I say, who would I need to communicate with about sponsoring or being a guest at one of your sales or team meetings? And then sometimes they're like, oh, you got to talk to this person. There's so many different ways that can go. Oftentimes it's like, okay, you got to talk to Shelly. I'll transfer you. And then wait, don't transfer me. I might ask you a question or two. And then, okay, so you guys are figure out how many meetings they're having, when they are do they allow speakers? Meetings how often, when do they allow speakers? Because if they don't have meetings at all, not a single meeting, and they never allow speakers in, then you know how to approach it. Because you don't, that's just what I found. Because then when I'm talking to the broker, then, hey, Katie, so your secretary Lisa suggested I reach out to you, and then it sounds like she gave you a referral, which is also a good thing. Hey, so,
Yeah.
yeah, or your agent said that you're the person I'd want to chat with about coming to see you guys at one of your meetings for a few minutes. Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then that goes 1,000 different ways. So that's a pro hack. Always get the info out of the person who answered the phone. And then it goes a billion different ways. Sometimes it takes a million touches to get in. Sometimes you get in right on the spot. And you just have to keep making phone calls until you do. Like, there's been a few offices that I think I've called 20 times, probably more. And the woman, the manager who makes the office meetings, doesn't answer. So then I sent her a sample knife, and now I'm gonna send her a santoku. So you just have to take the balls you gotta hit them as they come. What's that saying?
I don't know. Take the pit. What? I don't know.
I don't know either. You just gotta take them as they come. But yeah, I don't know how many meetings I've done. I have about 50 or 60 in the team meeting tracker, but that's kind of out of date. Oops, I haven't really. I should update that. But I'm at, I don't know, at least, and that's since I started. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So 8 months. I've done I think over 70, plus some smaller things that I didn't really count, like smaller teams, like within a big office. That still counts, I guess.
Oh, heck
But yeah, looking forward, I'll see what I have coming up. I did a meeting this morning, and I didn't even know this, but one of my best friend's stepmom was an agent there, which was hilarious because she was like, Sarah, hi, will you sing for us? Because I'm a singer. And
Did
I
you
was,
sing?
no, I didn't want to sing. I
Dang.
probably should. I don't know. I probably should have. That would have like really but the broker did say like, okay, Sarah, thank you so much. This is
Yeah.
great. So I'm gonna take the screen back. I still have some things to go over. But no, when I go in person to offices, people have said like, you're gonna sing for us, otherwise you're not allowed in. I'm like, okay. So yeah. But yeah, looking forward, I mean, it's always good to have a lot of events ahead of you. On Friday, I'm meeting with a mortgage dude. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do at least 5 pop-bys to offices that have been really rude and haven't let me in. Not rude, but just, next week, oh, this is cool. Next week I have 3 meetings. See, like, I don't even know. I mean, I just make so many calls, I could not tell you what's happening tomorrow. Like, I'm just so focused in the present. So, tomorrow I already have one-on-one from like a I don't know, a meeting a while ago, and a whole list of like a dozen people that have rescheduled their one-on-ones that I have to call. Next week I have, oh, this is cool. I have 3 meetings. The following week I have 2 already. The following week I have 1. The following week I have 1. The following week I have 1. So I have 1 every week until halfway through June, but my goal is to have 3 or 4 per week. So I gotta make a lot of calls today and tomorrow to book those up. But now things are starting to be in person, so it's gonna be harder to have 4 in one day because you have to drive. Like some of my offices are like 2 hours away because
Yeah.
Minnesota is mostly rural, mostly rural outside of the Hennepin County, Minneapolis area, which is fine. I'm fine to drive. So that's kind of my long-winded thing. Just make the calls. Like if you're making a ton of phone calls, I would say 75% to offices, 25% to prospects, because after a certain point in time, if they don't answer for a one-on-one, I don't care. I'm moving on because they're a loss. I mean, if they were truly interested, they'd get back. And obviously, they just don't have money, or they don't have any leads, or they are just an old fart. I don't know. Sometimes
I love the 75% offices and 25% prospects. So do you call the offices first, or is it just all mixed into whatever?
all mixed in, really just depending upon what I do. And I don't always stick to those numbers specifically, but that's just what I try to say. Like I never would just spend a whole day calling prospects. I never have, and I don't think I ever would. I don't have that many prospects, but like I have a whole spreadsheet with my leads, and I highlight them depending upon like their level of Like yellow means I need to call them back because they actually I stalk them. I stalk them. I go on everyone's LinkedIn because if they just got their license 2 months ago, I'm not going to waste my time. If they've been in the business for 30 years, I'm going to waste my time. So I highly recommend that because you want to know who you're dealing with. You don't want to call someone 100 times if they just got their license yesterday or even in the past year. Usually I only bother them a lot, not bother them, but follow up. So yeah, I don't spend that much time calling leads. Like I'll call them a few times, and I guess I could be better about that, calling them more. But frankly, if they don't have the decency to text me back or call me back, I don't know if they're a person I'd want to work with, anyways. You
Yeah,
know?
the lead is better if you've spoken at their meeting. So focusing 75% of your calls on calling offices is just efficient for you, I think.
Yes. Also, a lot of times you'll see them at a re-meeting, and sometimes I've actually had a few orders. People have texted me, like I've spoken at. I had an order last month. The lady texted me after 5 months. Like I tried to book her one-on-one in October, and then like early October, like October 2nd, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm so busy. I'll get back to you." And I was like, "I'm okay, bye." And then 5 months later, she ordered. And she was like, "Oh, it took me so long to find your contact information." I'm like, "You're on my client drip. You're getting texts from me, but okay." Okay, Sue. Her name is Sue. Some people just have like the lamest. Some guy the other day had to reschedule his one-on-one because he got a phone call that someone was trying to steal his social security number. I'm like, "Buddy, that's a spam call." He's
Oh,
like,
so sad.
"People just cancel for the dumbest reasons." I'm like, "Dude, just tell me you need to reschedule. Like, you don't have to make up some lame ass excuse that obviously is not true." I have
I
to pick
really
up.
like your attitude with this. Is my favorite thing about you that makes you stand apart from a lot of reps is that it's kind of like, yeah, it's disappointing when they reschedule, it's disappointing when they don't schedule, but you're almost like, you laugh a little bit, you're like, ha ha ha, and then you move on. It's so, that is so healthy. It like, that is so healthy, that is so productive because you could just laugh and move on. It's like, well, sucks for you. Didn't get to work with Sarah. And then like, instead of, oh, that guy is such an a-hole. Like, it's like, you're just like laughing and moving on, which is so productive.
And I mean, sometimes I'll be really mad, but I think it's healthy to have emotions.
Yeah.
What you do about it is more important. Like I'll get mad sometimes, but it depends. I mean, if I have nothing going on that week, like if I have no events and I only have two one-on-ones and they both cancel, then I'll be like pissed. Well, not pissed, but then I'll be more upset because oh, I don't have anything else. But weeks that you actually do have other action, it just doesn't matter. I mean, I did 4 one-on-ones. I think I'd scheduled for last week at least 12 or 13, and at least half of them rescheduled or canceled. And I'm doing my best to make that they're not. I'm sending them the email that Jenny Vega does. I send the email the day that I set the appointment and the morning of the appointment. I text them numerous times. I call them on the time of the appointment. I call them 5 minutes later. I call them an hour later. I call them the next day. I
Yes.
text them again, and I'm doing whatever I can. And frankly, like, I wish I had an assistant to do that because it's so annoying. And if they're not
Yes.
going to get back to me, that is time. Like, I mean, an email maybe takes 2 minutes, but that's a call to an office that I wasn't able to make. So,
Oh, I have a
you just,
question for you. Okay, so you said on your group me that you emailed someone after booking the meeting, and she was a small office, and then she replied, "Oh, I didn't know you were with Cutco." And then walk me through the process of closing her on 60 trimmers from like start to finish.
bad. It was the easiest order of my life. Okay, this is what happened. So there are a handful of small Remax offices, like a lot, and they have maybe one, two, three, four, five agents, but they're all over the state. Like some are 7 hours away, some. So I just haven't called them because they're so small. But now I've started to call, and I've called maybe 20 of them, and I'm gonna call the rest. Always make the damn call because this woman, Vonnie Cohn, at this Remax office in this small town in Minnesota, about 2 hours away from me, like in the rural area, I spoke, like I said, I spoke with the person who answered the phone, some nice agent who is on phone duty, and she gave me all the information. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, sure, call Vonnie. She'll get you into the next meeting." And then I called Vonnie and was like, "Hey, your agent told me to give you a call. Blah blah blah." Booked the meeting on the spot. Well, a tentative meeting because their next one is not scheduled. That's what happens often for the tiny offices. That's why I didn't call them because oftentimes they just don't have meetings. But that night at like 9:30, I saw my grandparents and it was so cute. I checked my email and I saw I had an email from like an hour prior. Vonnie had emailed to me like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know you were from Cutco." Like earlier that day, I was on the website and I've been meaning to get more because apparently she ordered like 4 years ago and she just whoever was her rep did not do a great follow up because she wanted to. She just forgot. So I was like, okay, great. I'll call you in the morning. And then I sent her some pictures during it because she told me kind of what she wanted. And then we get on the phone call and she's like, okay. I was expecting her to be like, oh yeah, I bought like 15. She said last time she bought 100.